Welcome to episode 81 of the Left Behind Game Club. This week, we finish Batman the Telltale Series with episode 5, City of Light. You can catch all things Left Behind Game Club at leftbehindgame.club, on Twitter at leftbehindclub, and on Instagram at leftbehindgameclub. If you've listened to the last 4 episodes of this series, thank you. And since you liked it, maybe you can send it to a friend? Just a thought. We close Batman the Telltale Series with a climactic end that involves a trip to Arkham Asylum.
I'm responsible for this. Alfred is paying for the things my family has done.
Batman.
Tell me where Alfred Pennyworth is.
Where he is doesn't matter. He'll be dead soon. A lesson needs to be taught. This forsaken city. They won't look the other way. Not again.
You're listening to the Left Behind Game Club.
Welcome to the Left Behind Game Club, our never-ending attempt to make sure that no game is left behind. I'm your host, Chicken McCourt, and today I have 2 friends with me. The first friend, you know him, you love him, our resident Bruce Wayne himself. It's Michael Ruffalo.
I'm the Batman, and I'm excited to talk about the end of a great game.
Here to talk about the end of a great game as well is our resident Joker, Mo Murtati.
Yo. I don't know about that whole good game thing, but we'll get into it.
This is episode 5 of our Batman the Telltale Series saga, City of Light. If you have not listened to the first 4 episodes of this series, please ensure that you listen to those before you listen to this, because we are going to spoil the end of this game. So at the end of episode 4, we were left with a choice, either to confront Two-Face or confront the Penguin, which led to vastly different endings on episode 4. Mo did the Penguin ending, myself and Michael did the Two-Face ending. So obviously when we start this episode, we're going to have to start with what happened with each of those other respective villains. So as you begin the game in Michael and I's playthrough, you have a confrontation on the roof where some of the Penguin or the Children of Arkham baddies are there, and they are just causing mayhem, grabbing hostages, including the commissioner of the police force. As Batman, you approach them, and a fight ensues. A fight that has grave consequences for one member of the GCPD.
The commissioner dies. And this is where, boom, boom, we get the opening where Gordon is lined up to be the next commissioner. The pieces are falling into place. Slowly
falling into place. But soon after that, you confront Penguin through one of the Wayne Tech drones that have been stolen by Oswald Cobblepot. And in holographic form, much like holographic Tupac, Penguin shows to try and murder you.
Again, these drones are upgraded from when you last saw them on the desk in Wayne Enterprises. Mm-hmm. And the only thing going through my head is like, Lucius, you had one job. Like, I left you behind to just make sure that like this tech didn't get into the hands of the Penguin. And what ends up happening?
You're not a fan. Not a fan of Lucius Fox, are you?
I'm a fan when he does his job. Like, I didn't task him with like, oh, by the way, I just need you to save all of Gotham and take down the children of Arkham. All I said was, just stay here and make sure Penguin doesn't get his hands on the Bat Tech.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's like a side character, and you tasked him with taking care of a supervillain, I guess. So, I mean, he tried. Like, he's better than, I guess, anyone else, like a normal person on the street. But I didn't want to keep blaming Lucius with this. I don't know why we're kind of bashing him and telling him, hey, your life's work of making me Batman, thrown out the window because you couldn't be a good security guard.
A fun fact about him in this game, Lucius Fox is voiced by Dave Fennoy, who voices the main character in Walking Dead Season 1. So that's your fun fact there. But what happens in that confrontation is that Penguin blasts your gear with essentially like an EMP, which renders whatever technology you still have almost completely useless. And at that point, you need to find another way to confront the Penguin, which you decide to do as Bruce Wayne.
Oh, what do you do? Like, because I had a different, obviously, beginning of mine, because my ending was different for episode 4. So what's the final altercation with, like, Penguin? Is your first decision based off of Penguin?
It is.
By any chance? So mine's based off of Harvey, because I had to deal with Harvey in my beginning.
And they don't call him Two-Face at all in this, do they?
They did in mine.
Not once. Oh, did they?
Yeah, but like I wasn't directly like he's the character for Two-Face. I want to say it was Commissioner Gordon in my beginning. He's like that. We have to get rid of that darn Two-Face. Like calling him a Two-Face, but like maybe indirectly actually calling him Two-Face the bad guy.
Without getting too far ahead, I don't think they ever once call the Joker either.
No, I don't think he's even like he's not Joker yet. I don't think even the player who knows the Batman, the character, knows that's Joker. But let's say you've never came across Batman in general. You just know him as this creepy guy. Like, that's just always smiling and no one cares about him.
John Doe.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what one of the best parts of this episode is when Bruce Wayne or Batman has to use a flip phone for all of his communications in Michael and I's playthrough.
That's true.
To be fair, Samsung just released the updated flip phone with the like twisted screen. So Batman is still ahead of us and we don't even know it.
Very fair. So the confrontation takes place between Penguin and Bruce Wayne in Cobblepot Park. And the key decision for us, for the players that picked to take down Harvey Dent in the last episode, was that we have to work with Commissioner Gordon to keep the Penguin distracted. So if you keep him distracted, then Penguin stays calm, and then Gordon sneaks around and disables basically the thing that helps him with his drone tech communicate to all the drones. You can destroy that, but if not, then the Penguin figures out your trap and all hell breaks loose. So essentially there's a fight, and Bruce Wayne throws a drone at Oswald Cobblepot, whose face is completely messed up from when you beat him up in a previous episode. Yeah, just like messed up.
Yeah. Like bruised up and like cut up from like punching him, I guess, from the altercation. I think in episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Do his legs get banged up like the end of episode 4 for me?
I don't know. That's a great question. But for us, it was just his face.
Okay.
And I don't know how you felt, Michael, but I felt like this confrontation had like no payoff. It was like a giant wet fart.
Yeah, it seemed pretty much just like we need to tie up this thread. A lot of these threads that were coming to a close in this final chapter, I don't feel like were resolved in as, I guess, a climactic way as I would have liked. But on the other hand, I guess I kind of understand why. Like, you can't have 5 climaxes in this last episode.
But do any of the storylines pay off? I can't name a single one that does, not to get ahead of ourselves.
You know, I really like the way the Joker storyline ends, honestly.
Okay.
Or at least where it's left.
You mean how it doesn't end?
Yes.
And that's at the end, right? You guys are referring to?
Yeah.
Can you guys refresh me? What was how did the Harvey part close for you guys in the end of episode 4? Like, is he done and out of the picture or no?
Yeah, so at the end of episode 4, he's cuffed and carried away with half of his body, pretty burnt with his suit. And so we get a reference to Harvey later in the episode when we go back to Arkham. And he's in one of the cells, and he looks like he's having some psychotic episode.
Gotcha.
But we never really have more of a run-in with him after that one brief glimpse in episode 5.
Is there an interaction at all in the Helts, or you just see him as you're walking through when you're kind of finally back to Arkham?
No interaction either. You're running by, taking care of more important things, I should say.
Yeah. Guys... I think I had a way cooler beginning to episode 5 than you guys.
You did.
Okay.
But, I mean, we also didn't have Harvey all scarred up, so...
Yeah. Should I just dive right into it?
Yeah, go for it.
I to be honest, I thought it was probably the highlight of episode 5 for me. So leaving off of what happened in my end of episode 4, confronted Penguin, beat everything out of him, like broke his legs. He's kind of leaning there crying at me, holding his legs, wondering like what's going just like defeated essentially. And my assumption based off of just him being Penguin is now he's gonna have a limp, just like how Penguin does. Bravo, Telltale, cool little way of making him actually Penguin at that point. From there, snapshot to Harvey Dent. He's at your house, and the house is on fire. He lit it on fire completely, and looks in the screen. Episode ends, episode 4. So once I've dealt with Penguin, the goal is I have to go to the Wayne Manor because Alfred's there, and like I have to save him. The whole concept. You make the assumption that Alfred's smart. He would have locked himself into like the Batcave. So you kind of call him, say, Alfred, are you okay? And he's like, yep, I've locked into the Batcave. Like I'm all good. Equipment's all up and running. So like Harvey is upstairs with hostages. And I want to say he calls either GCPD or he goes to the news and he says, if the police shows up, he starts killing people. If Batman shows up, he kills everyone. The only thing he wants is Bruce Wayne to show up.
Cool.
So eventually, there's no options. You just have to show up as Bruce Wayne, and Alfred kind of tells you maybe this is a benefit, maybe this is a way to de-escalate everything, because Harvey's all like riled up, like he wants to murder and like take down the city, martial law's in place, the whole shebang. So go over to your Wayne Manor as Bruce Wayne, and you beforehand also tell Alfred like get the drones ready. I'm gonna like need them like to help take care of this. I can't remember if it was actually Alfred or Gordon, so bear with me, but one of your allies is like, yeah, I'll help you out. So as soon as you walk into the front door, Harvey is flipping a coin and deciding on whether or not to kill people that he has in his hand. He's like, yeah, I'm going to kill you, but nope, I'm going to let the coin decide. The coin does it all. The options you get as you're talking to him to like de-escalate him are like, you're crazy, or it's over, Harvey, or let's get you help, or whatever it is. So I always picked the neutral one. It wasn't like you're crazy. It wasn't like let's get you help. It was very like, let's end this. Come on. You don't want to do this. You want the city to like be, you don't want this for the city. You actually wanted to help the city. This is just you going like a little nuts. And every single time you kind of pick that one for me, he'd let someone go as you talk to them. So you take a step forward as he's like deciding the fate of one person. I de-escalate him. He lets him go. But he's always flipping the coin to make all of his decisions. The last option, when you're almost right at him, is like, Harvey, like the coin controls you. Like you don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, like I have to decide. So as you're charging him, after he lets go of the final person, you're running up to like the staircase. He realizes it, grabs, I think, one of his assistant, and is about to kill her. Flips the coin to decide. Batman jumps in and grabs the coin. He doesn't grab Harvey or anything. And I'm not kidding you, Harvey has a meltdown and like goes into like the fetal position. And he's like, I have to know what it said. I have to know. I can't like figure it out. And he's like, no, Harvey, it's over. Like, and you have the one first option for me was like, what do you do with the coin? Do you throw it away or do you put it in your pocket? I put that thing in my pocket and I told him like, you don't need this, man. Like we're gonna get you some help. And he's in the fetal position shaking, like realizing like he has nothing to do. Yeah.
Gosh,
Bruce Wayne's a billionaire. But, you know, it's still legal tender. You know,
yeah.
It's not like he won't stop to pick up some money if it's on the street.
Yeah, man. Oh, it was a fancy coin.
So much better than anything else that we had in this episode, or anything. Yes. Period.
That's what I was saying. It was my highlight because like the whole interaction is him approaching him slowly, talking him out of like letting people like hurting people, and he's having that clash between himself. Like I have to kill them. They're bad people, and the other one's like, no, I don't want this. I want the best for Gotham. And then at the very end, when you take his like decision maker away, he just gets into the fetal position, and it's like you broke him. He has no way to proceed in life. Like he needs that coin.
That would have been his biggest weakness.
Yeah, it was a straight. I don't think I've ever seen that with Two-Face as like a thing, but that's I was okay with it. It was kind of a cool little twist to it. So after that, he's cuffed up.
So Mo, how did I assume there's a decision there? Yeah. How did the percentages break down between what you chose and what I guess the other people chose?
Fun fact, because that decision I felt like put it in the pocket or throw it away. It was 55% chose my option, keep the coin. And 45% threw the coin away. And by throw the coin away, it was like over the railing because you're kind of on a staircase above like your main atrium kind of thing, your entrance to your home. So like it's either throw it away back away from you guys or keep it in your pocket. So it was split pretty much right down the middle. Because I didn't think it was that, like I would have thrown it away, didn't feel bad. I would have kept it in my pocket. I thought it'd be cool to kind of keep it in my pocket to let him know I'll take care of you. I have this with me. Like everything's going to be okay, rather than throw it off and get him to go crazy or maybe get it later in the future or whatever it is. I have control of the thing that controls Two-Face.
So after we start the game and there's load issues to start the game, there's frame rate issues and load issues during the previously on, we get euchred and you get that great like sequence. I don't think that's not fair. That's just not fair.
Yeah, I thought it was wicked. Like, if you can watch a video of it, maybe it'll be cool too, just to see it. But it was, I liked that sequence more than most of them, and I'm glad I made those choices, I guess. I'm not too sure what happens from there. Is this when you are talking to Alfred? I'm hoping we have similar decisions from here.
Yeah, so I think after that you go into the Batcave to kind of figure out... So now that the other villain is taken care of, they're like, we need to now figure out how to get to Lady Arkham. So you go down the Batcave, do some detective work with some records in the Batcave between both Oswald Cobblepot and Lady Arkham. And that's when, one, you get your CEO access back real fast. You get to talk...
Oh, man. Jacob, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. But the way that this game universe thinks like the business world operates confounds me.
Right? How long would that take to get your CEO access back at our big company?
Like a month?
Yeah.
Like for the board to be like, this person's coming back. Also, like, he was just disgraced. Like... Why would they suddenly just give him the seat? Anyways, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be poking holes in this.
No,
but
don't worry, because
I
have one just as weird. I have one just as weird, and it's almost like maybe I'm just the only one that thought it was really silly. It was like once Harvey's being escorted out of like Wayne Manor with like a police officer, there's one police officer literally standing behind him in like the target shooting position with like the pistol in front of him, like directly in front of his chest, like sticking out, pointing at Harvey's back and walking like a robot behind him, as if like you've ever seen any prisoner being escorted with a pistol walked like being pointed at him. It just seemed like a very silly way to like be taking someone away that's in custody. He's cuffed up. Like, why do you have a gun pointed at his back, kind of thing? It was very mobster. And
even like the next decision that you make is like very I don't want to... It kind of stunk. Like, it was kind of like it didn't matter what you say. Like, who cares about what you say to Alfred? Because in the beginning of the conversation, I basically reassured him. But then when it came to a little bit later, when you actually make the choice that affects, your important choice in the video game, I went the entirely different option.
Okay, so what did you go with? What did you decide?
I went with 2.3% of players and blamed Alfred for not doing enough to stop Thomas Wayne.
Okay, that's harsh.
Yeah, I'm just mad at everybody.
So, to be clear, the three options are: you can tell him that the only thing that matters is fixing it. The other option is, I wish you had done something. And the last option being telling Alfred, he's not to blame.
Yep. You can also choose to not respond too, which is a fourth option that they actually tally here.
Interesting. Okay. So I told him, like, the only thing that matters is fixing it.
Okay.
Because, and this is probably, like, the most clear reflection of how I deal with crisis. I'm like, I hate when people in the middle of an issue are trying to figure out who's to blame or, like, who's at fault. Like, nothing triggers me more. The only thing I want is to get to a solution, and then we can figure out what, how you do it better, how you don't make that mistake in the future. So, like that is 100% the way I handle things in real life. And when I looked at these options, I was like, my guy, like, we need to stop these villains from destroying the whole, like, city. We can take care of your emotions as soon as we're done that. Right now, let's just make sure the city doesn't burn to the ground by a psychotic cult.
Yeah, I chose the option of, like, comforting him pretty much and telling him, like, he's not to blame, because the way he was worded is like, I should have helped Martha to stop Thomas, and it's like, man, you could have done lots of things, you could have done positive, like, there's no way to say that what you would have been able to help would have changed anything. Like, you could have been taken out just as easily as the Cobblepot family, like, you're just a butler. So, like, don't worry about it, it's over. Like, nothing, like, what happened, you can't go back in time and change it, let's move on, let's fix what's going on. So, similar to Mike's sentiment, like, why are we still dwelling on something that won't change anything besides your stress level and your inability to solve the next problem?
Yeah.
So 27.7% of people told Alfred that it didn't matter who was at fault. All that mattered was fixing it. So I felt like I was in the minority, but considering that could be split 4 ways, I wonder what was the majority decision.
It was mine. The option was 67.9% of players comforted Alfred that he wasn't to be blamed for all of this.
Interesting.
So I think the majority was this. The next major decision was yours, Mike, just comforting him in general, letting him know let's move on. And I think the small minority was you're a crappy butler.
Yeah, that's me, brap, Alfred, with my words.
Look at the elite blaming their servants and people beneath them.
Hey,
what
don't do that. I'm no rich mayor or rich president. Like, let's go. Come on.
You're Bruce Wayne.
Speaking of vulnerabilities and problems with our own creations, I guess, Bruce Wayne has another vulnerability
And what would that be?
in the form of a skeleton key that Lucius Fox made. Are you kidding me? Again? Another one?
Looks like Lucius Fox isn't doing his job. Am I right?
Yeah, okay, fine. You can get that. No one in this universe does their job except for Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had one job, Lucius.
And
Just do your job.
And what happened to the skeleton key, Michael?
Selena Kyle goes to steal it.
And so you meet with Ms. Selena Kyle, who has your skeleton key as Bruce Wayne. I guess it doesn't matter in this case, but you meet her on her rad motorcycle.
It's a cafe racer, and I was like, yes. I was like, of course she's driving a cafe racer.
And both of you are into motorcycles. Like, tell me why that's cool.
It's a hipster bike. It looks trendy. Just before that, just because the reason why she's on the motorcycle
You're just going to pivot that quickly, eh, Mo?
I'll get back to it. I'll get back to the bike. But like a big thing that was kind of not bothering me, but came up several times throughout this entire game, was I literally can't tell the difference between Selena Kyle and Vicky Vale. Because like when she took off her helmet, as you're tracking to see who had the skeleton key, like you opened up a camera and you saw someone take off their helmet, I'm like, Lady Arc, and then like Selena. I'm like, oh, Catwoman. Okay, I could not figure out the difference between the two.
You thought their like face models looked the same.
Yeah, very similar. I didn't find like a distinguishing feature. Like I guess Bruce and like Harvey are bigger guys, but at least like Harvey has a big square head with like light brown hair, and you deal with Batman all the time, so you can kind of see his face. But I just thought their models were very close to being the same.
Why is it a cool bike, Mo?
No, it's just a trend right now that's happening with motorcycles. Like you want the old school classic look. Like think of like old school roadster like cars, like the Mustang from 67, 69, but they have brand new components most of the time because they're made by like garage guys that build them. To the point where now new manufacturers are making brand new motorcycles, like 2019, 2020 motorcycles that are that cafe style because they see how many people are loving them. It's all over the gram. It's like the cool bike.
All for the gram.
All for the gram. But yeah, they look really cool. When you see them, you're like, wow, that's a cool classic bike. Just like if you see a old like Corvette, it looks kind of cooler than like the newer ones because the newer ones are futuristic. The old ones like classic muscle, exposed components, really like loud noise, like exhaust pipes. They're just classy old school type style motorcycles, and it's the current like trend right now. I love them. They look cool, and Mike I think loves them too.
Yeah, like I love the idea of taking this bulky, heavy old bike and taking everything but the, required elements off of it, and it just go like super fast.
These bikes are cool, but Selena sucks, am I right? Hey.
That's true. Yeah. Throughout this whole thing, you're tasked with like explaining to other people, like, is Selena the worst, or is she misunderstood, or is she on our side? Like, throughout the whole thing, and I've always kind of taken a middle path, like, like she's not the worst, she's not the devil, she's not against us, she's just in it for herself. And this is where we like kind of have to have a discussion with her and tell her like, hey, this is what I can deal with, or this is what I can't. And you decide whether you call her a simple thief or tell her like, hey, deep down there's more than just that. So what did you guys decide?
I decided that I regarded Selena as more than a thief, and I was in the majority with 91.3% of players.
Same.
Yeah, I was in the same boat, but
easy choice.
I feel like it almost like with this decision they like led you into this, like the way like the dialogue was very like, you're more than that, Selena. Like you're not just a thief. Like you're trying to do good. You saved my life. Like the options were, I don't know. I felt like it was a forced.
Yeah, and there's no real consequences from this choice.
Yeah, and I felt as though like there was no build up to like, oh, actually, I betrayed you, and I was trying to get your money the whole time, ha ha ha, or trying to get your technology the whole time, ha ha ha.
Your impression of Selena's great.
Thank you.
No, I didn't really care for that decision. Like, I feel like it was just a decision just to have 5. Like, at what point can we kind of use a situation? Let's close out the Selena situation with her leaving town. And then one of the things she kind of brought up was like, oh, you're just sad that I'm leaving. And I want to just write a new option and be like, no, I am not. Like, goodbye. Like, you can go. I just want to make sure you're okay, and you give me that damn device back, or we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after you get the damn device, that's when kind of the final part of the game, I think, kind of sets in. And you find out that someone is attacking Wayne Manor again, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's when you kind of get that, I don't know if it's a distress signal, but you realize...
You get a call.
Who's the call from?
Call from Alfred.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you get a call from Alfred, and he says, like, Master Wayne, they're coming, they're here, I'll try and hold them back. And you're like, vroom, vroom, let's get back.
Yeah, and that's when you get to your Wayne Manor, and you see, like, I guess not a murder crime scene, but like a bloody kind of crime scene in your own home. And of course, Alfred is missing, and you start that little detective mode to figure out, like, ooh, what happened. I was kind of over the detective like things by now with the Batman game, and like this one, like, yeah, okay, it kind of like pieces together what happened, but I really just didn't care. Like, I just wanted to know what happened. Let's move on from it. It wasn't like I wasn't excited to do this one, if that means anything.
Yeah, all of this, or most of this episode, just felt like padding, unfortunately. I don't know. I felt like the best parts of this series were like episodes 2, 3, 4, and like this whole episode was just wrapping up a bunch of storylines. And I don't think, besides maybe the Joker and maybe Two-Face in your playthrough, Mo, none of it was really incredibly satisfying. Yeah,
that's why I was kind of talking when in the beginning of the pod when we were doing the introductions. I was like, I don't know if it was a great game, just because I wanted to kind of talk it out with you guys and see how you felt too. Like, I felt this episode so far was like meh, except for that Harvey Dent situation when he falls apart.
Yeah. So you go through the crime scene. You figure out that there was a fight between Lady Arkham, aka Vicky Vale, her cronies, and Alfred. Where Alfred, for an old dude, like put up a pretty good fight, but Vicky Vale leaves a little clue behind a graduation picture of Master Wayne and Alfred that was like moved from its original location, and on the back it had a location for where they needed to. No, it didn't have a location. It had like a phone number or a password.
Wasn't that no, I think that was an IP address to kind of enter into the back computer so you can access like a video feed.
Yes.
And exactly. Then the password was like whatever to access it, and when you do get like to see what's happening.
Password was Reckoning.
Yeah, you see a video of Alfred being like tortured, I guess, by Lady Arkham in a video camera. I just want to say, in the previous episodes, I think, Mike, did you say that Alfred was a bad guy or he's behind it all?
Yeah, I was like, what if the whole setup along the way is like, trust Alfred, Alfred, he's on your side, and then he is like one of them.
Dude, so when that came into the back of my head when I got to this point, I'm like, Mike definitely did some research and figured out what was happening in episode 5 and called it. Oh my god, I'm going to chew him out when we do the podcast. Like, he cheated, he guessed what was happening because he knew about it. I was so angry at this point. I'm like, there's no way, because the whole thing was it's Reckoning. He's going to get what he deserved for like all the bad things he did. And then even before, when you forgive him and he says, I did something, like you didn't forgive me kind of thing, I'm like, oh my god, it's coming together. I hate Mike. Mike.
Well, I would have owed Michael $5 if that was the case, because I made an open bet where I was like, hey, if that's the case, then I'll owe you $5 and didn't ask for anything in return.
You're also really good at impersonating yourself.
It's the same person every time. Selena Kyle, Jacob McCourt, Bruce Wayne, everyone.
Whoa, guys, whoa.
I'm just kidding, Mike. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so what? Just to carry on with what's going on. So you're watching the video of Alfred being like beat up, and you notice that he keeps like touching his eyeglasses and like glinting them into the screen, and you immediately say, "Oh my God, he's giving me information. He wants me to freeze the frame and see what's happening in the environment using your bat cowl." Convenient little feature of the bat cowl. You can kind of see in VR what's happening through the like lens of someone's glasses.
So good.
I thought that was really cool.
So good.
Mm-hmm. So you put on the glasses and you keep telling Lucius Fox, who's right with you, to keep like switching frames so you can kind of see what's in every image and figure out if there's any clues as to where he's being held hostage.
Lucius Fox finally does his job.
Yeah, he's pulling his weight. So based off of some of the symbolism, you realize it's a property that has a certain heating system. It's located in a certain area, and you narrow it down to be the Vale's home. They're in a basement of the Vale's home, based off of several things you pick up from those images in that VR camera.
So Batman scoots on over, gets to the Vale residence, and finds in the basement they're gone. They're not there anymore. But finds there's a hidden kind of even deeper part of the basement. It seemed like it was air vents or something like that. Mm-hmm. Where you see all these children's drawings and sketches on the wall, and you realize that that's where the Vales had kept their foster children. And this is, deeply where Vicky's hate is coming from.
Yeah, that the house was a home of abuse, where there were belts on the walls, there was blood everywhere, caked in blood, and not even just Alfred's. I think there was even a handcuff on the wall. So my question to you guys is,
too, for escaping.
Did this change your opinion of Vicky Vale at all?
No, because I think earlier we get a good sense that she had a very troubled past with her family, and there were clear signs of abuse. Even the young kid that you find mentions that there was abuse, but even then, I mean, how can this ever justify her? It was hard for me to come around and feel really sympathetic for Vicky, knowing what she's done. I
think this sole purpose was to get Batman to at least understand that side, to see where she was coming from, but not to convince him that okay, everything's okay. But it was more so just letting everyone know, okay, yeah, she was abused, very aggressively, kept in a little cage underneath the basement that she couldn't escape from. Drawings all over the wall with crayon all over the place. And the cool little thing here is when Alfred was kept down there, when you find the designs, you realize one color of the crayon box was left open, and it corresponded to your Bat computer color. So you turn on your little red infrared system, and you realize Alfred left you a message in crayon amongst all the scratch and drawings to say, she's taking me to Arkham, or we're going to Arkham.
And she's letting them all out, I think is what the message was. Plan.
Yeah, I think the message was just taking them to Arkham, and that Bruce makes the assumption she's going to let all the inmates go at Arkham, because there was in my situation, it didn't say letting people go, it was just, they're taking me to Arkham.
Oh, so in ours, it had little stick men running away from Arkham. And I'm blanking on exactly what the 3-word phrase was, but Jacob, do you remember?
No, but keep talking and I'll look it up for you.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with, she's letting them out, or they're going to escape.
Gotcha.
Something along those lines.
Mine was because the drawing was an original drawing from Vicky Vale when she was a kid, and Alfred just wrote, "You're taking me to," and an arrow to her drawing of Arkham. So that's where he connected the dots. But anyways,
so from there we head all the way to Arkham. And we find that the orderlies are being rounded up, and the children of Arkham have kind of taken control. And you tell Alfred to tell the GCPD to get ready and be there. Your job is to get in there, get Alfred out of a house of crazy, essentially an insane asylum, while the children of Arkham are also controlling it. It just seems like a really tough situation.
Yeah, no, I think it was building up for that final, I guess, conclusion of confronting, I guess, Lady Arkham. I think that the way I was going through it, you see all the bad guys, you're able to fight with Zaz. The big blue guy, though, I just kind of walked past him. Did you guys have to fight him at all?
No, we did not.
Just walked past him as well.
Yeah, he just kind of doing his own thing like a true crazy, just
I didn't
closing
even
the door.
See him.
He was just opening and closing a door the whole time.
Yeah, thank goodness, because he was
guy.
giving you the work in the beginning. I don't know what you could have done against him. But anyways, you're walking through, you confront Vicky Vale, you get into a fight with her, and you punch her mask off, her, based off of what the mask that she was wearing that we thought was Scarecrow, finally knock it off, and she becomes exposed as, of course, Vicky Vale, finally, revealed as.
With a shaved head.
Yeah, with a shaved head.
What?
It just fit
Where did
better,
that come
maybe.
from?
Maybe she wore a wig when she was when she was Vicky Vale.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I mean, Nothing says you've had a psychotic break like shaving your head.
It's Brittany, B.
Leave Brittany alone.
Leave her alone. Shout out to early days of YouTube. But yeah, so you confront her in like a little jail cell, which I thought was weird. Like you walk right in with her and it's like it's over. And she blasts the basement through and you land injured, I guess, in the tombs of Arkham. Is that what we would call it?
Yeah. How many stories do you think you fell, guys?
At least 6.
Like, I thought it was
it was a long way. I'm surprised Arkham went that deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was not expecting her to like smash the ground with her little like stun pole, which like we still don't know why she uses a staff or a stun pole or why she has rocket
where
boots,
she got
but it's
it.
fine.
Where does that
it's
come
fine.
from?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's a video game.
Villain origin stories. That's for another game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even besides that, let's get to the fight. So when you confront her, you realize Alfred's being held like almost half alive, pretty much. He's like been beat up a while. He's gone through a lot. Is this when you kind of? I'm trying to see if I missed a decision though. Did we get through all? of them?
No, we've got the 2 final decisions to go through.
Ah, okay. So the big one is you're walking up to her and she's letting you know she's gonna take out Alfred. The only way you can save him is by revealing yourself and showing you the mask. Before that, though, just quickly. Oh yeah.
The whole time she's complaining about Thomas Wayne and how Alfred allowed Thomas Wayne to do terrible things to me and many others. And the whole time I'm just thinking like, yo, I'm Bruce Wayne. Like if you only knew.
Not even that. Not even that. She even praises Batman and goes, "Well, you should be like happy with me. Like I'm taking down these bad guys who are corrupting the city. Like Batman's doing good. Bruce Wayne is selfish. He's one of the elites. He's powerful and doesn't care about the soft people. He stays at home. He's lazy. Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne's literally walking up to her as Batman saying, "Oh, you have no idea." So, should we get to the decision? Do you decide to take off your mask, or do you rush her? I think is the other option.
Yeah. So do you want to do it on 3?
Sure.
What are the options?
The option, and I'm probably bad at this, but Bruce Wayne or Batman.
Okay.
Or reveal or not.
So what are we gonna say? On
Reveal
3?
or not?
Reveal or not.
Okay. 1, 2, not.
Reveal.
Okay.
I did not reveal. I was like, if I take this, I mean, this was probably, I'm going to be honest, one of my more like potentially a mistake decisions. But I was like, there's no way that I'm letting Vicky, the journalist, who could find a way out of this, know that my identity is Batman. It's just not happening. And what ends up happening is if you don't reveal, she takes a staff and she basically like shoots it into Alfred's eye.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what
dead?
happens to Alfred's eye?
So Alfred, he drags himself away, so he's
Poor guy.
still alive. I know. I felt pretty bad. And, you know, no major spoilers here. I think everyone can kind of guess how this is going to end. At the end of the game, Alfred is alive and suddenly has one eye and an eye patch.
Oh, dang. Eye patch Alfred
Yeah.
sounds so cool.
So what happens? I assume he doesn't lose his eye if you remove the cowl. What happens then?
Fill it in, Jacob, if I miss anything. But when you get into that fight, you show the mask, and she's shocked. She's like, "There's no way it couldn't be you. Like you're the one that I just said like doesn't help anyone, doesn't do anything for the poor. Blah blah blah. It can't be you." But then she's like, "You know what? Whatever. It would be you, just like Thomas Wayne, like hurting bad people and hurting the weak and the Arkham Asylum crew." Like she just flips it to make it like kind of fit her decision she kind of wants.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I do have to mention the fight with Batman was absurd. I'll give her the caveat that she has those rocket like moon boots, that staff of destruction. But like when she's going fist to fist and he's clocking her, he's blasting her in like every which way, making her go flying.
Yep.
I can't accept that she held her own with Batman for that long. It was getting to the point where it was getting like hysterical. Like what is this? How is she surviving? Cobblepot couldn't last. Like Harvey, like no one could be fighting Batman that long taking all those blows and still being okay, jumping up, talking as if it's normal, like teeth are all there. Like, what's going on?
I think that there's one thing that we don't talk about enough with this game, and it's the choreography. I think one of the best parts of this entire episode is the fight scene and some of the cool shots. Like, at one point, Batman punches Vicky Vale into the big, like, angel statue that's up on the wall, and like she holds her arms out,
really
and
cool.
the wings fall like a fallen angel at the same time. And there's even like
Very
a
well
shot
done.
where the camera is actually on the pole that she's holding, and it like she uses it to like hit Batman in the abdomen, and it follows her. Like, very cool
It's
fight
like
choreography.
GoPro.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what?
Well directed.
Yeah, I'll concede it then. If it was just to give us all those cool little clips, I'll say, okay, worth it. But like it was kind of crazy with those fights.
I agree with you that it shouldn't have been as even as it was, but I think the fight choreography was cool.
Yeah.
So we didn't say what the consequence of our actions were, because there was a physical consequence.
Do you want to know, Mike?
Well, in mine, the consequence of attacking Vicky and not taking off the cowl is Alfred loses his eye.
Well,
Yeah.
guess what happens with ours?
Alfred keeps his eye.
Harvey Dent comes down from the ceiling in a
Get
SWAT
outta
uniform, and
Get outta here.
he rips her head off and eats it.
Get out of here.
No, okay, yeah, no.
Here's what really happens. So,
Evander Holyfield happened.
instead of blasting Alfred's eye, she blasts your face, and part of your ear gets blasted off.
So the decision is between Alfred's eye or Bruce Wayne's ear.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's missing like a chunk, like imagine about the size of your index
Enjoy
finger.
life with one
That
eye,
chunk is
Alfred.
now missing. That missing chunk of your ear is like an index finger long, and it's just missing.
Enjoy life with one eye, Alfred, because I'm not losing my ear.
Yeah,
But you still have your ear. You just like part of your like ear. It looks like it has a gunshot. Like
I
half
will pay for
missing
the
from
best
it.
cybernetic eye in the world for Alfred. But Bruce Wayne's keeping his beautiful earlobes, I'm telling you.
Okay, I'll concede. I'll listen.
and the consequence of this fight in the underbelly of Arkham is that they essentially hit each other off a lot of the like columns and the walls. So the entire like cavern starts to collapse. And as you take Alfred and run away to safety, like a convenient exit right at the left, Vicky Vale assume that she just gets crushed by rubble.
Yeah, I think it's they do kind of like don't directly tell you if she's gone or not, but I want to say she's done because like so many bricks.
Yeah.
Although she was taking a pummeling from Batman, I feel like she could survive this still.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, in those decisions, I was in the minority there, so I definitely realize that everyone else decided to save Alfred by taking off the cowl. But imagine if you take off the cowl and Vicky survives.
Oh my gosh.
You're screwed.
She's a crazy person from Arkham, not believable. Let her say
That's a
whatever
really
she
good
wants.
point, Mo. That's a
Yeah.
really good point.
I'm kind of okay with it because Joker probably knows who she is, who he is, and the Catwoman knows. Like a lot of people know him, but like
Yeah.
okay, do something. Like
So you assume that Vicky's pretty much toast in the bottom of Arkham. I think they'd probably let you know if they weren't able to find her when they dig her out at the end. And you need to decide, what you're going to do from there. There's basically a press release or a press conference that happens, and you need to talk to Gordon, and you need to decide. I think this is the final decision of the game.
It is.
Or final consequential decision. Do you go and talk to Gordon as Batman, or do you do it as Bruce?
I did it.
What did you guys
I did it as
decide?
Bruce.
You did it as Bruce.
I did
Mo?
it as Batman.
I did it as Bruce as well. Okay,
Oh.
Mo, you go first. Tell us what happens when you go as Batman.
So yeah, I'll go first. It's essentially you drop down and meet Gordon, and he's wearing his commissioner garb. Like it's almost behind an alley, and he tells you like, "Do you want me to say something in the message?" He's like, "I just want you to know that like let them know that Batman will always be like watching over." He's like, "Okay, I think the people would love to hear that." But you're not actually at the press conference. You're just kind of skulking around the area, and Gordon's giving a little presentation, and someone starts charging like the staircase where the presentation's being held with a van, and as it's charging to take down Commissioner Gordon, you jump down as Batman, save Gordon, and like neutralize the guy and get him arrested. And like it's just kind of like a commotion. And the news report kind of says, "Oh, during their press release today, Commissioner Gordon was almost assassinated by this random person." and watching the TV screen of this news report is Joker kind of laughing, and he's like, aha, I'm gonna have to top that, as he's clapping away, and the cutscenes kind of hit.
And so, Mike, ours is very similar, where we're Bruce Wayne, and we go to Commissioner Gordon, and he comments on the fact that we're missing part of our earlobe in kind of a way.
Well, you didn't say anything of that to me.
Oh, he didn't?
I had my ear. No.
Oh,
yeah.
you
My
had
whole
your ear. Okay, so in my case,
That's fine.
I go up to Commissioner Gordon, and he's like, what happened there? And I'm like, shaving. And he's like, were you shaving with a chainsaw? What happened in yours?
Come on, you could have said something way more believable, like a discharge of a gun and hit his ear or something, like he's just being careless, like he's protecting
Alfred
himself.
was cleaning the shotgun.
Yeah, it was chaos in like the city, so he wanted to defend himself, and yeah, something like that.
Yeah. He basically says, like, this is a great opportunity for you to save your reputation, and the city needs you. And it's a moment where you then go out on stage to this press conference, and you decide what you're going to tell the city of Gotham. And essentially, my Bruce Wayne says, hey, look, I'm not my father, but
Same.
we profited off of the pain of others in the process of this city being built.
Same.
And we want to fix that.
Same.
And then you're kind of left with this decision, and I don't know if this is, like, I don't think it's consequential, and I kind of hated my decision, but you decide if you're going to support the GCPD or if you're going to support Arkham Asylum, and that's how you're going to, help rebuild the city. And I chose the Gotham City Police Department.
What?
I know. I feel really weird about it, like, supporting, like, us. And it was only after I decided it, and it was a really quick decision, that I was like, oh, man, I'm supporting, like, a militarized police state. But my thought process in the moment was, Arkham is so broken, man.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to fix Arkham from the beginning. And I think the biggest thing was, like, I'm doing this press conference with Commish Gordon. Like, how do I not, like, double down and support him as the new commissioner, other than by saying, like, I'm going to support the GCPD.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess I kind of thought the same way as you, where I'm like, hey, Arkham is stupid broken, but my actions were different in that it was like, cool, instead of building this new Thomas and Martha Wayne garbage, we're just going to spend my entire estate, my entire fortune on fixing Arkham Asylum, and
Damn.
we'll see if it means anything, but I truly don't think it will.
Yeah, probably not. It's hard to burn through billions of dollars,
It is. I thought you meant, like, I'm like, Telltale doesn't have billions of dollars. What?
No, they definitely do not.
Oh, boy. Anything that we missed kind of in this last section? We also saw John Doe, a.k.a. Joker, before the credits closed, but we'll see what happens in the next game.
Yeah, so as you're at this press conference, it cuts to the Joker sitting in the bar that you had a bar fight with Selena in, and he's sitting there enjoying a martini, talking about old Brucey and how he's going to see him soon.
Mm-hmm. So the last choice in the game was around what we've already discussed. So 61.6% of players showed up as Bruce Wayne, and the other 39.4% of players showed up as Batman. So we're almost perfectly in the margins. At the end of the game, in addition to seeing our choices again, we actually got almost like a readout of the way our Batman and Bruce Wayne behaved, and I'm really curious, gentlemen, as to what your Bruce Wayne and Batman style was.
So the first, option was a metric between, like, if you're compassionate or pragmatic. Surprisingly, I was 73% compassionate as a Batman.
Okay.
The next thing we had was brutal versus merciful. I was split right down the middle, and I'm so happy that I was. Literally 51% merciful, 49% brutal. So it was surprising because I remember I stabbed Falcone in the body and just loved every minute of it.
Yeah, but then you got soft. Sorry.
Yeah, probably. And then the next one was cunning versus honest. I guess I'm a liar, folks, because I was 68% cunning. And then the last one was self-reliant versus collaborative. This one shocked me, but I guess as a Batman, I'm 73% collaborative and 27% self-reliant. So.
And now, was that the big trait for you, or was that, like, did it put collaborative versus self-reliant, like, as a big trait?
Mine big one was compassionate. That was my big bold one.
Show me what yours looks like. Oh, because mine actually, like, does something entirely different where it says like collaborative is like my top one.
Oh, you know what it is? It's maybe the one thing that you have is the highest percentage. Because like for me, collaborative was 73% too, but I guess maybe mine was 73.5% compassionate versus 73.1% collaborative. And that's why the big one is whatever you lean towards the most. So someone could have been really brutal and that was the dominant one.
Got it. That's cool. So your dominant trait was your compassion.
Compassionate and collaborative Batman, which you need to solve Gotham. Yeah.
So my big trait was collaborative at 71%. And then it went merciful at 61%.
Wow.
Cunning at 51%.
Whoa.
I was right down the middle between honest and cunning. And then 65% compassionate.
Okay.
So I think I leaned pretty strong for most. I would assume, but collaborative was definitely the one that I was like, I want to work with people to solve this.
Yeah, and surprisingly, I was the same. I was 78% collaborative versus self-reliant, and that was my dominant trait. Followed by being brutal at 61%.
The big bad Jacob.
Yeah.
I was a big bad wolf once again. Cunning at 68%.
Same as mine.
Compassionate at 76%.
Uh,
I would hate to see what happens to someone who corners you in an alley, Jacob.
I'm like a little rat.
I just noticed the thing. So, Jacob, you're 70 whatever percent compassionate, but you're also 60 something percent brutal.
Yeah.
How is that possible? You're a compassionate, brutal person?
Yeah, I guess that I'm brutally compassionate.
He'll break your arm and then he'll say he's sorry.
No. This is what he does. If he's gonna beat someone up, he'll take a bat, but it's like a blow up balloon bat rather than like a wooden bat. But he'll beat the crap out of them with that balloon bat.
No, I think I'll punch them first and then use the balloon bat.
Gotcha.
Any final thoughts, gentlemen, about this episode or the entire series that we haven't yet shared? We'll start with Mo.
I think I've been very thorough as to like how I felt about the game throughout, but just as a quick summary, I thought it was a good Telltale game. Like, I like the story. I still like the game style of it. It did have those glitches throughout the game. Like, for me, in the last episode, it was a lot of music. Like, music would be blasting, and then abruptly mid-conversation, it would stop and just be audio dialogue. Those small little things kind of, I guess, weren't that big of a deal, I guess, but just because I did get it free with Game Pass or Xbox, one of those promo things.
Games with gold.
Yeah, games with gold, exactly. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it if you have it available to you. It was fun, cool Batman story, but I don't know. I give it a solid 6.5 or 7 out of 10 if that means anything. I'm not fully head over heels for it, but I also don't think it was terrible.
Okay.
I think this game pays off quite a bit at the beginning, when you get to see the novelty in how they tell a Batman story a little bit differently, new origin stories for the villains. And I think the only thing that keeps the last 2 episodes interesting is, the references to the Joker. Other than that, I felt the last 2 were a little bit flat or, a little bit expected. But on the whole, I enjoyed it. I definitely didn't hate the hour and a half I spent with each episode.
Yeah. And I almost think of the entire series like the classic marketing curve, where it's like the episode 3 was like the peak for me, and episode 1 was a meh, 2 was better, 3 was fantastic, 4 was good, and then 5 just try to wrap up everything with a bow, and just a lot of it fell flat. And then I don't know about you guys, but I felt like the technical issues were the worst in episode 5, where I actually had to exit the game when it did the previously on and then restart it, and it still took 10 minutes to get through the previously on section. So technical issues.
I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was not that bad this time.
Yeah,
mine
it was
just
very
audio.
bad. Yeah. Writing was great. I love the take that Telltale had on this one. I want to play Batman The Enemy Within, which is their season 2, and it's the last game that Telltale really did before the studio shut down. It's my 5th Telltale game, and it's probably my 2nd favorite. But like I said, Mo said 6.5. I hate giving numbers to games, but it's a 70 or 75 for me for sure.
Yeah. One thing that we also brought up in a previous episode.
Mine's a 5 out of 7.
Yeah, 5 out of 7. The voice acting was great. I thought that was probably a highlight of the game. I thought everyone was more or less believable with their character. No one, maybe besides Lady Arkham, was believable. Alfred was good. Lucius was good. Joker was great. Batman was Batman. I wasn't really offended by anyone, and surprisingly, because I do have that love for the traditional voices of Batman with Kevin Conroy and Luke Skywalker.
What's his face?
Mark Hamill.
Mark
Hamill, thank you. Mark Hamill.
Jinx, you owe me a Kokomo.
Did we say it at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was delayed for a sec. I thought I got it. Damn it. Okay, yeah, I got you.
Thank you.
So that is our final episode in Batman the Telltale Series. If you've listened to the entire series, we just want to say thank you. And if you haven't subscribed to the show after listening to 5 episodes, please do us a favor and hit subscribe on your app of choice. If folks
do yourself a favor,
yeah, just
make it easy to get more.
Make sure that you see our next 2 episodes. That will be Broken Age and Gato Roboto in the month of March. Mo, if people want to find out more about the games we're playing and about us as a community, where should they go?
Well, you can just jump onto our website. That's leftbehindgame.club or leftbehindgameclub.com. We have a big giant button that takes you directly to our Discord server if you're not on there. We talk about the games we're playing, the games we're going to play. A lot of our members give out some good deals. And if you do want to support the show, we do have an option to donate via PayPal. But more importantly, if you have any friends that love video games and listen to podcasts, we'd love a shout out. Just let them know, give them a link, give them the name, whatever it may be. We'd love to have more listeners to help build this community up.
I saw someone on Resetera post about the podcast in a great gaming podcast thread, and that meant the world to me.
Oh, I would cry.
Who knows what other forums, threads, etc. that I am looking at, and you could also make me cry as well. So make sure to post it there as well.
Michael, if before you start crying, where can people find you on the internet?
It's too late.
Dang.
The people can find me crying all over the internet at RufloM on most social places online, or in our Discord server, often crying about some of these insane game deals and not wanting to spend all of this money. Also, trying to restrain Jacob from buying everything on Earth. But Jacob, where can the people find you?
I bought Nintendo Labos and I probably shouldn't have. You can find me on the internet at Jacob McCord on all major social media platforms and at jacobmccord.com. Mo, where can the people find you?
You can find me crying watching YouTube videos of soldiers coming home to their pets, or you can find me on the Discord server or most social media platforms at Murtati. Mike, take us home.
Boys, it's one less game left behind.